Hello, everyone. See, happy Friday to all. We have made it through yet another week. Let's center up a bit here. Let's see. Looks like we do have sound. At least go into OBS. While I shuffle my windows around just a bit here, let me in front for the chat here. So let me start out with a quick housekeeping note before anything else. Literal housekeeping note in this case. I actually do have some construction work ongoing at my house, so there may be some hammering, some power tools, some noises like this going on in the background. I apologize if so, if it comes through too loud. I do have a noise gate on OBS, so I'm hoping that that will hopefully help to some extent, but I imagine some of it is still going to come through. So just a heads up to everybody, maybe try to turn your speakers down a bit today might be a good thing. I'll try to speak up, especially if there is ongoing stuff at the moment. I'll try. I don't necessarily have a mute button, but I do have a slide bar. I'll try to mute if it's getting way too bad for a minute or two, and then I'll come back whenever it does ease up a bit. So I don't know if you hear them, but there's some hammering in the background right now. So we got that going on today, so just keep that in mind. Getting into the actual show. Hello, everyone. My name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord. This is the CircuitPython deep dive program. In this program, we are looking at the innards of CircuitPython. This is a program that was started, a weekly stream started by Scott Shawcroft, the lead developer of CircuitPython. He recently had a child, so he is not working, resumed all of the things that he was doing beforehand. And so this stream, I'm currently doing this stream weekly, and have been for a little bit now. So for those of you that have joined me before, thank you to you. For those of you that might be new, or if you saw this stream previously when Scott did it, welcome and thanks for joining us. We are looking into the code of CircuitPython. Specifically today, a couple of things I have laid out to look into are the web workflow edit page. I put in a PR for that. I'm going to try to get it back to a good state real quick here. If this ends up starting to look like I'm not able to do it very quickly, then I'll move on from this, but I did want to give this a try. And then the other thing I have, which I'm super excited about, is a hardware device. Speaking of which, I see K-Match in the chat. How's it going, K-Match? Thanks for tuning in. And we'll dive into this hardware device later, but this is a CircuitPython tablet that runs on ESP32S3. So yeah, that's what we'll be looking at today. I do notice right now, actually, I don't have my camera here, so I'm going to have to grab my camera. It's just a couple of feet back here. I'm going to have to grab that and move it over to this desk. So that's going to take me a minute when I do get to it. I'll do that here shortly. But I'm going to start with this request here. Let's also finish it off, though, for folks that might be new again. We're getting into the deep internals of CircuitPython on this program, but if you're new to this and you don't know what CircuitPython is, a good place to start is circuitpython.org right here. This is the main website for the project. It's an open source project. It's an implementation of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers, such as all the ones pictured on this downloads page. Including Feather devices like ESP32S2 and S3 Feather devices, which is similar to what is on the tablet that we're going to look at a little bit later. So writing Python code that runs on these things, interfaces with other hardware such as displays, LED lights, buttons, beepers, buzzers, switches, levers, touch inputs, all kinds of things, right? Sensors, temperature sensors, accelerometer sensors, all of these different things. We can write Python code that interacts with all of these things. So that's what CircuitPython is, what it's all about. Let's see, I'll shuffle a couple more of these around so I can keep an eye on the chat. Let me catch up here. So how's it going, folks in the chat? Skur and Love the Factory over in Colorado. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Paul, hear you well. Thank you for the heads up. How's it going, Paul? Thanks for tuning in. Skur is in Rado's western neighbor, which would be other side for me. I'm in the, well, I'm another state further over, I suppose, but I'm the eastern neighbor, but still very far away. K-Match, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, of course, as well for the opportunity to work on this exciting new tablet device. C. Grover, saw on the, how's it going, C. Grover? ST7789 display drive that it's not adjustable. Oh, the something about brightness. Is there more functionality around the display brightness? Good question. I don't know for sure. I know lots of displays are PWM, so you can adjust the brightness for that. Recently, we just had a fix for the display that's on the PiPortal Titano to make that work correctly with PWM. I'm not super familiar specifically with ST7789, so I don't have any insight into that one, whether or not it does support brightness today, or if there are plans to provide brightness. I will say, though, Seagrover also is in the chat here. Seagrover has a recent library, a recent example that that they put together that allows you to use brightness not by manipulating the display with PWM, but instead by manipulating the colors inside the palette to make them dimmer or brighter. So in a situation, if that screen doesn't support brightness, you might be able to get a similar type of effect by using something like that to manipulate the actual colors in your palette to make them darker, rather than, you know, the backlight of your display getting darker, if that makes any sense. So check that out. And C. Grover, again, I'm pretty sure is who made that in the chat. So maybe somebody can drop a link to that. Okay. We have wandered enough. I think I did the intro. Let me also say thank you to Adafruit. So CircuitPython is an open source project, but it's primarily funded by Adafruit. So Adafruit is a hardware and software company based out of New York, and they are paying the folks that work on the CircuitPython project full-time. So a couple of the folks are full-time employees of Adafruit that work on the CircuitPython project. Some folks like me are part-time, and we still work on the CircuitPython project part-time, and Adafruit is paying us to work on that. So thank you to Adafruit, and then also thank you to anyone watching. If you want to consider purchasing hardware from Adafruit, that does help support the project, of course, by giving them money for selling hardware, which they can then pay out to people who are working on the software. So thank you to them, and thank you to everybody who does purchase hardware from Adafruit.com. So web workflow, where I'm at is I made a PR and I had like a stale version of main, I think, and my PR has some changes that I don't intend to be in it. Like it has these changes in these other submodules like ULab and PewPew LCD. I think that I tried fixing this last night. I added a few commits to this PR. I did try fixing it. Thank you to Scott who left a message on here about how to fix it. I did try to follow this. I don't think I ended up doing it correctly. And I think what I am going to do is see if I can just make a new branch and then start from there. Sometimes I find that's a little bit easier for me when I do get in a weird state with Git that I don't quite understand all the way or how to get back from. I find that I can just make a new branch, and sometimes it works correctly, as long as I make sure to update and stuff before that. So I'm on main. I'm going to update. I'm going to run make fetch submodule. Which I think I actually did just a moment ago, but I'm going to run it again just to make sure that we're all up to date here. While I do that, let's also say hi to the folks in the YouTube. How's it going, Beata and Hope? Thanks for joining us. Hope on. Randall, let's see, Not Taken Seriously. How's it going? Thanks for joining us over there on the YouTube. Let's see, question here. Apologies, it's been asked before. Any updates planned for the RPi Pico W? No worries, no problem asking. I don't know that I don't think it definitely has not been asked during this program before, so you're good there. I will say I don't have any insight into it necessarily, though, so unfortunately I don't have an update for you, but my assumption is at some point probably we would be trying to support that device with CircuitPython, I assume, because we do support the Raspberry Pi Pico, of course, and we also support like ESP32S2 and other Wi-Fi based things, so I would assume there is some plan to do that, but I don't know any kind of timeline, and I can't, I can't confirm it or anything like that. That's just a guess. Kind of as a member of a community, first and foremost, just watching, new stuff come out over the years, I would assume that that's somewhere on the horizon, but I don't have any specific insight. How's it going, Aspect W? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this palette fader right here, Skur, check this thing out if you're interested in trying it out this way. Oh, you've been using PWM on the ST7. Let's see. Oh, I saw the display drive that isn't adjustable, but you have been using PWM. which works pretty good. Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So you have a display where like display.brightness does not change the brightness, but if you hook up a PWM object yourself to the pin that the display brightness is on, and then you shift that PWM instance that you created, then it does change the brightness? Do I have that bit correct there? Because if so, I think that means probably just the display driver is not hooked up quite right. Because internally, I think the display.brightness property, I think that's driven by a PWM, so it should, if you got it to work that way in like user code level, then it should also work that way from the driver, I think. Working on another C3 board for CircuitPython. Nice, let's check that out while we're waiting on this update here. Copy this. Okay, also while we're waiting on this update, I'm gonna grab my camera real fast as well, so I'll be back in just a moment. I will, let's go like this. Okay, here we go. So I actually was using this camera for something non-CircuitPython stream related today and yesterday, so which is pretty rare. Usually the CircuitPython streams are the main thing I use this for, but I had actually used it and moved it over on the other part of my room to point at something different. This is the IP lately, 8080. And I'm guessing we probably crashed the first time. See, here's a sneak peek at what we're looking at later. A very fuzzy sneak peek. Maybe we can sharpen it up just a bit. There we are. Oh, a little too much. Okay, now we got the camera ready to go. Okay, did we finish our update here? We did indeed. All files up to date. Let's do a make this one. Let's let that run real quick. And then what I'll do is I'll make a new branch from main, which should be now all up to date. And then I'll apply my stuff into that new branch, which should be relatively easy, I think, to copy paste that stuff over, hopefully. Let's see here. So let me catch up on the chat here as well. Okay, this was the board. So yeah, you're working on this board, Ask Patrick. Is that right? Ask Patrick? Yeah. Let me, what do we got on this thing? Beetle ESP32C3. Oh, I like the little form factor with all these pins in the middle. That's interesting. It's kind of cool. It's like a little, you know, like proto area there for you to connect to. Looks like you got UART broken out, I2C, couple grounds, couple powers. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe my browser add-ons or something are wigging out the photos here. You can get these ones. These are pretty good still. Nice. This is battery hookup, I guess. B plus, B minus. Run that thing off a battery. Nice. Is this a ribbon cable connector down here? Is that just an old Android phone? It is, yeah. The camera is an old Android phone. Oldish. It's like a LG V80 or 50, something like that. Yeah, and there's an app. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but there's an app for web camera server, basically. it has a little configuration screen and a start server button. You push the start server button and it loads itself up, and you can access it on the network using whatever IP it is, and then get the feed, take snapshots, adjust the, you know, the lighting, the focus, and all that stuff on it. It's pretty handy, but I will say it is starting to wig out a bit on me. I used a certain phone for it for like a year with no problems, but then started having a little bit of trouble. I switched out to a different phone. That one worked fine for a couple of weeks with no trouble, but then it started having some of the similar kinds of problems. So I'm not sure what the deal is with it, but I'm actually in search of a newer top-down camera shooting device or methodology or something. So if anybody knows a good device like top-down camera, particularly for shooting screens, right? Like a lot of what I am filming is screens. So if anybody knows a camera that's like good with screens and like it combats screen glare and stuff like that, but still picks up LCDs and stuff, if anybody has recommendations, I am all ears, because I am interested in something different than the Android device I am using. Good question though. About the brightness on the ST77, I did a quick search in projects, found the rotary encoder with the drivers, rotary encoder inside the driver. Have CircuitPython running on that Beetle. Need to test the pin definition and learn how to add other ICs on the board to the board definition. Nice, like other like stuff connected I2C or something, a sensor or something like that. Suspect the driver doesn't support brightness because PWM pin isn't always the same. Oh, interesting, isn't always the same. However, it would be nice if the driver allowed it to be optionally listed when instantiated. Yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. So like different versions of the display, I guess, can have the brightness on a different pin or something, maybe. Yeah, I would agree. I hope you're on macOS and have an iPhone. Apple are adding the ability to use iPhone mounted to your display as a webcam, including a desk view mode. I am not on a macOS, and I do not have an iPhone, unfortunately, so I will not be able to take advantage of that. That is good to know, though. It's definitely a useful feature. It's in beta right now. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go check out new branch from main. We're going to just, I think, call this... just going to call this basically a new version of this. Workflow edit page. Web flow edit page. Make it shorter this time around. From Adafruit main. I don't know if this needs quotes. I don't know if the quotes will help or hurt either. Let's take them out. I don't think I use them normally. No track this one. We don't want to track this branch. There it is. Switch to that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go ahead and push this to Foamy Guy remote. Let's see, are we back? We might be back. Check a few more places. Five. I think we might be back. Okay, yeah, I think my OBS crashed or something. I looked up 1 minute, and I looked back again the next minute, and OBS was just gone. Didn't give me like a crash window or anything, just gone. We're back now, though. I think we're resumed. We have sound still. Hopefully the streams are sorted out right. Usually pretty good about picking it back up, so hopefully that works. Yeah, do try refreshing if you get any glitches or anything like that. Here, I'll put in the chats as well. Let's see. Streaming glitch. Sorry, folks. Try refreshing if having trouble viewing. Oop. There we go, back. Yep, thank you, folks. Nail is hopefully not in the cable. We're going to go fingers crossed. Definitely, let's please not have that one. Okay, so we've got this comparison here. I'm going to find this stuff. Basically, we can kind of move these whole files in. See. This file does not exist actually though, and I don't necessarily, doesn't show me a way to pull it in, does it? Show diff, compare with local, open repository version, cherry pick selected changes. Usually there's some arrows here I can use to kind of click back and forth, which is pretty handy. Not too much stuff though, so I'll just try to move it in here real quick. So 828-ish. Got this if statement bit. Oh, it's in a new spot though now. Static file stuff. Reply static. Okay, and then the only other thing I think that we actually do really need is the actual edit.html and edit.js. What will be the easiest way to get those? I'll just go here. Something like this. Edit. JavaScript. Edit. Okay. Actually, one other change that's there is in the directory HTML. It's got kind of a weird diff here. PD. One's tough to get matched up right, maybe. There it is. And do I actually have any difference in, no, this was not my stuff. This was just like got updated by got, I think, in one of the commits I pulled in when I merged or something to update main, when I tried to update main. Okay. Flow. See what it does. That will, I think, should run its... Do I have to make a PR from it for it to actually run its actions? Okay, perfect. I do have only my own changes now. We don't have that changes with like the submodules, right? ULab or Pew Pew. Those things are not listed here now, only my stuff. It's perfect. That's exactly what I was going for. Okay, where is this? Okay, yeah, let's try to keep an eye on OBS and look at the chats. Yeah, it looks like we're good on the chats. Okay. Let me pause this. I don't really need this this particular preview running right here, so let's move that. I think actually this is probably running a preview as well. We could pause that. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there for now. I think I'm pretty much caught back up to where I can make a PR, but I will do that later on after the stream, or if we have some more time towards the end. But I suspect we'll probably play with our new toy for the rest of the stream here. So we have this device. For folks that don't know, Crestron, this is like just like conference room technology company. They make all kinds of stuff for office buildings and conference rooms. So like if we search something like this, Crestron, I think I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Crestron, yeah. Go tablets. They make all kinds of stuff. Do they have a photo? Anybody? Photo? Not really. They make phones and things as well, just all kinds of hardware that goes inside of like conference rooms and other office building type stuff. So that is what this device was made for, was going inside a conference room or mounted on the wall or on the table or something like that inside the conference room. It has a couple of navigation buttons and an X, and then this is a touchscreen, and it would have probably controls for like controlling stuff inside the room. So maybe like an up down button for the the projector screen. Maybe like a call button for, being able to dial the telephone in the room. Maybe input selectors, select HDMI versus DVI versus, a browser page or something, like, switching who has control of it at a certain time. This thing will just control that kind of stuff in the conference room. In its actual intended existence. What has happened here, though, is our friend Kmatch from the community and in the chat, so thank you again to Kmatch for doing this. Kmatch has created a custom board right here, and Kmatch, feel free to fill in the blanks and or correct me if I'm wrong. I'm relaying my understanding of it, but there could be parts of it that I am misunderstanding as well, so I'm giving you my kind of account. The only thing I've done with this so far is I took it out of the box last night, I powered it up, and I did see it power on, and I saw the program that's on it and that sort of stuff, but that's the only thing I have done with it so far. So Kmatch has created this custom board. Looks like back in March was when it was designed. This is the 1.0 of it. This is a ESP32S3 dev kit adapter board. So ESP32S3 dev kit device. It's not quite a feather, but it's sort of feather-ish, right? This is the microcontroller. It plugs into, I'm guessing, probably some female headers on there. Can't quite see them underneath there, and it is taped on to keep it nice and snug, which is cool. So that plugs into there. And then we've got these two ribbon cables. So this longer ribbon cable here, from what I understand, this is a relatively standardized connection from displays for tablets and touchscreen devices and things like this. It may not necessarily be the only cable that exists for this purpose, but it is one that is relatively widely used in products just like this that have a touchscreen. They have this type of ribbon cable connector, and they also have a similar type of driver chip, I assume, somewhere on the inside, wherever the other side of this cable is at. There's a driver chip inside of there that's responsible for driving the display. This one over here, way fewer wires. This one, I believe, is for the touch input. So when we have this running, we're able to touch the screen, and it knows where we're touching. And it is transferring that data through this other smaller ribbon cable here. This is all connected back to the microcontroller. And KMatch has created kind of a special version of CircuitPython, which actually expects this type of hardware here. It uses the what I believe is a relatively new peripheral, right? On the ESP32S3s, they have this LCD driving peripheral that's made to talk to these things, these types of ribbon cable drivers that go out to the displays. KMatch has implemented it to where we can take advantage of that new peripheral inside the ESP32S3 from CircuitPython, and then actually hook this display up to display I/O, draw on it just like we would a Pi portal or any other device. So now that I have set the stage, let's see, you're doing great, awesome. 40-pin connection is to the typical display, but 40-pin is typical, but they do vary widely. For this display, it doesn't have any very smart controller. The display is a so-called RGB display or dot clock display. Okay, so it doesn't have much as far as brains. You just kind of blast it some color bytes, essentially, and it draws them onto the pixels that it has. Perhaps is how that goes. Let me see if we can turn the light on. Go here, LED. We can probably come down just a touch here as well, and then focus in a bit. So there's our device. Let's get the chats back on here. This is a simple display. Driver chips are actually mounted to the glass on the display. Nice. This simple display driver chips are mounted to the glass on the display. No real smarts on the display. Okay. So I will plug this in, and I don't recall. Let's see if I can see it here, or I may just have to pick it up and look. Yeah, I'll have to pick it up and look. Let's see, which one was which? USB. Okay, UART is one and USB is one, so I'll plug in USB. Plug that in. Flip this over here. That back, and it takes it a second to boot up. So this device has power now. It's powering on. You can see it just connected as CircuitPy right there. So we do already have the CircuitPy connection, and there is our very, very glary display I/O REPL. And then there is a let's look. Yeah, maybe we just go no light for now. In fact, actually, it's probably better this way. Yeah, there we go. So it displayed Blinka for a little while. Now we have Foam Tablet, which this is awesome. I like the graphics here. So thank you for that, KMatch. Great stuff there, Foam Tablet. And then it has a let's see, I lost where it's at. It has these little bubbles bouncing around, little bits of foam, if you will. So these are bouncing around, kind of like the old school DVD logo, right, on your DVD player. And this will track the touch. So the touch is already working to where if I touch, it's picking up those touches, and it's using it as a place to change the location of the bubbles too. So this is already drawing, already working, already like really pretty responsive. Is it a capacitive touchscreen? This thing, it does feel more like a capacitive screen than a resistive one. Like I don't feel like I have to push really. It's just sensing my capacitance, I guess, right? I don't really know how they work all the way. Have to refresh the display pixels regularly to keep it showing. Oh, okay, so you have to keep sending it. You just have to keep blasting it all the pixels that you want it to draw, essentially. Okay, so first thing, we're just gonna look in here. Let's look at the code that's on it. Let's see kind of how this thing gets initialized and set up, and go from there. Ultimately, our goal is gonna be building the custom build of CircuitPython that this device needs to run, and then get it cleaned up, fixed up, whatever we need to do to get it past the finish line to be ready to hopefully make a PR out of and merge into CircuitPython. That way other folks would be able to use this same type of hardware. So that's where we're headed, but of course to start with we can just look at what's on the device. So let's go to device workspace, And let's find our CircuitPy drive here. And actually, pretty much the first thing that I am going to do with it is just take like a full backup of it, just in case if I mess anything up. So I have device workspace here, which is on my local PC. I can just dump a backup into. This will give me all the files. The other thing I was going to pull too is a backup of the UF2. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that. Try poking at it with a thing that isn't a finger. Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, good idea for telling if it's resistive. Kmatch did mention that it is capacitive and it can do 10 points multi-touch. I think we reset it here probably when we connected to this, and now we're copying files off of it, so it's probably restarting or something at this point. So we'll let it do its thing here. In fact, froze up my PyCharm a bit. I wonder if it failed during the copy or what. Let's give it a minute though and see where it ends up. So one thing is I have not used this device yet before. Oops, could not copy soap. Let that go. It got most of everything. Oh, but then it disappeared. Probably I freaked it out by copying from it like that. I think we'll give it a little reset and then try again. It looks like it got most of it, to be honest, or maybe some partials. I assume maybe it did some partials with the dot underscore there or something like that. It's kind of interesting. Let's see though if we can. Oh, not this one. Here we go. Back to here. Fortunately, in the current state, you have to hard reset the board to reset the display. And what is, let's have to pull in a bit, boot and reset. So I'll try reset. Let's see if we do get it back that way, at least with the file system, because then I can copy from it. Okay, there we go. CircuitPy is back. Oh yeah, and there we go. Oh, and it seems like it, and I guess I didn't time it either time, but it seemed like it went pretty quick that time as well. So we got Blinka computer on there, and then of course the foam tablet. There we go, bouncing around. So let me. You know what I'll do is I'll try not PyCharm. I think PyCharm might do other stuff when I copy files. You know, it's kind of fancy. It's always trying to do a bunch of stuff. Maybe what we'll do is let's just try this stuff here. Grab all of these and then copy them just in the file explorer. There we go. Okay, so we got all those. I did see the other button is boot, so probably we can get to bootloader by holding boot and pressing reset, but I will say I have not used very much of the ESP32S3 devices yet. The other thing I'm going to do kind of simultaneously here is I'm going to try to pull up the page for that, ESP32S3. Ah, they're not listed in here yet, actually, are they? Is it, or is it just maybe I don't have it quite right? Dev kit. Okay, yeah, I didn't have it quite right. Dev kit. So this is one of these. There's actually 3 of them. S3. Oh, there's up to at least 4 of them actually now at this point. And I don't quite know the differences between all of these. I'll take a quick look in. Uses, okay, yeah, innate R8, that is, let's see here, innate R8, that's going to be this one here, innate R8, and then let's see what kind of information is on this. S3 is similar to S2, but it adds dual core BLE. Let me catch up on the chat as well. Let's see here. Missed one thing. What microcontroller? ESP, well, you probably saw it now, and I'm still catching up, but it's this. This is the one that's plugged into an ESP32S3 dev kit, innate R8. Seems like when the display is running, that eats up a bunch of cycles, and the USB is slow. Oh, when the display is active. Okay, so yeah, if it's trying to do both, like copying files, for instance, and drawing on the screen, it may trip it up a bit on one side or the other. Yep, NR8, N8, R8. Special LCD controller peripheral that can do 8-bit or 16-bit parallel. Check, check. Hello, okay, I think we're back now. Sorry about that. No audio. Thank you for the note, J Temple. Yep, looks like we had the wrong this thing selected, therefore we didn't get any sound. Should be back now. I'll wait a second or two to catch up. Got a lot of folks saying no audio now, but I think we're on a delay, so we're probably catching up. Hopefully within another minute or two somebody will let me know we do have sound now. I think we do, hopefully. Video also static. Catching up, can hear me now. Awesome. Thanks for the heads up, folks. Really appreciate it. So that's about how long our delay is right there. Check, check. Okay. All right, let's get back into the swing here. So we don't need this. That's definitely not what we need. Let's open the right thing. Okay, but for about 15 minutes, gonna take a shower. Been a hot day. Yeah, it's been pretty warm here as well. Luckily, I managed to stay inside for most of it. But yeah, enjoy, and we'll catch you when you come back. If so, appreciate you tuning in for the beginning part here. So let's see. Let's get our chats back. Let me catch up here. So lots of internet is a mess. Okay, looks like we're having lots of craziness going on. Seems your carpenter. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we're hoping for not that one. We're hoping the internet cables are going to survive with no issues. Okay, where was I at? So let's get it connected. Let's see if we can go to bootloader mode and then get the UF2 file, because usually I think there's like a current.uf2. Are these like this intentionally? Or is that something weird with my copy? Ah, that is something weird with my copy. Why do we have those? Oh. Ah, I see. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I think those are actually there. I have the dots, which makes them technically hidden files, but they are still there. Pause this. It didn't copy fully. I think they are there. Yeah, they showed there on this side as well. Maybe they're like, I don't know, Circuit maybe puts... You did any installing from Circuit? Maybe it put those there or something? Or maybe those are new things you worked on? Because some of these are like new stuff, right? Maybe did you have to do some of this stuff for... Grid? Well, I guess it's not that new. Grid inflator. It's fairly new. I don't know display IO types though. I don't recognize that. Display IO types. Maybe that is inside of image load actually. Come to think of it, maybe that is inside there. Okay. Do we? So really, what I was hoping was bootloader. Does this page boot button, download button, holding down boot and then pressing reset? Initiates firmware download mode for downloading firmware through the serial port. Does it ever go to bootloader mode like UF2 bootloader mode? Let's see, UF2 bootloader. Bootloader is not. Oh, okay, yeah, UF2. No idea. See, it's not necessary unless boot drive is not visible. Let's try going to bootloader and see which what we get. If we get a drive or if it's expecting like ESP tool. This is boot button. I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna press reset and then I'm gonna release boot. And then it's gonna do reboot into bootloader mode. And then we'll see if it does have a drive or not. Looks like probably not. Yeah, it looks like probably not. Didn't load the UF2. Okay, no worries, no worries. So then just to clarify, the way we would install new versions, if we do get a build working, the way we would install that would be like through the ESP, so either ESP tool or I've actually been using this one a lot more lately. Oh, but right, this is like a Chrome thing, isn't it? I think. Okay. That for a minute. Let's try to get a build though. So in order to get a build, I am going to, what's the best way? Would probably be, it's on a branch. I don't remember for sure if you did share with me the branch. If so, I apologize. But if you do have it on a branch, I would, link would be awesome. Let's see if I can check here. I did that wrong, didn't I? I forget your GitHub. But you do have an issue on this, I think, right? There we go, 98. I think what I'm gonna do is make a new clone. Open that up. ESP dot display. Thank you. Is the branch. And this gets open. What is this? Load project? Clean project? I don't know. I think just open it. No compilation commands? I mean, they're there. I know them. You don't need to know them. It's fine. You got this, C-Line. I believe in you. Check out. Also, let's this okay, there we go. Whoa, that's interesting. ESP fuck. Okay, so we probably need to make fetch submodules, or we need to do this. Also had to make some changes to ESP-IDF submodule. Here's where I put my version of ESP-IDF. Copy that. Here, paste it. Nice. Okay. So then what we will be able to do is when this finishes, we'll CD over to the ESP-IDF, which is being checked out right now. We'll CD over to there, and we will change it up to be on this branch here, kmatch, the remote, and then GBLCD branch. Not good on GitHub, so I'm unsure how best to get my version of ESP IDF into the CircuitPython branch. Do they have a... Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works. Do we have a... Is our submodule directly the ESP IDF's repo, or is there an Adafruit hosted fork of that? Yeah, it looks like there is. Is that the one that is submoduled, though? That would be where? Ports? Yeah. Okay, so I think what we can do is PR from your one to this Adafruit one. And then if that PR gets merged, that should make it so that then it comes into CircuitPython. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what that was. That was breaking. Not our ref. This might be it being confused about ESP-IDF, I'm thinking. Remote hung up. Try one more. It should skip the ones that are done, I think, right? Or doesn't take as long at least. See if it was just transient, like maybe it tried to make a request and it failed or whatever. Or we just lucked out on that, but we'll let it try again, and then if not, then I'll just CD down there and see if we can't set that one directly anyway, because we know we're going to be changing the branch anyway. I think there may be an Adafruit fork. Yep, I believe so. A couple more. There we go. Oh, and it did end the same way, but that's all right. Let's go into ports, expressive, ESP, IDF. Interesting. Okay, and it does just show master, which it does usually. I'm gonna go look at one other one, like it maybe actually did check out. I think maybe my version, the one that I checked out here, is actually maybe yours, potentially. Because it does usually show this kind of thing for a submodule, but with this one, IDF, it just shows this, master X. It doesn't have one of these. Oh, that is a long list. That's my entire terminal. Can't even scroll back all the way. Okay, let's see what happens if we try and make build from here. So we'll need to go, what is it? Well, we need to probably do, oh, I wonder if it's, maybe that make fetch submodule was failing because I never did install? Don't you have to do that first, maybe? There, no? Install. Oh, there's nothing in here yet. I see. Okay, that submodule is, it didn't pull anything. Interesting. How do we update a specific submodule? Had some issues getting the include statements to find the right file locations. Ended up making symbolic links to get it to build. Okay, how can we check on like what the submodule is doing? That is. The one thing is, we list them first. Get modules. Where is dot submodule? Oh, I guess maybe it was here. No? That submodules go. Let's see, just remembered I followed some instructions to try to redefine where to pull the ESP IDF from. May have messed it up. No worries. I think we need to, it seems like that It seems like that the location it's pulling from, yeah, I guess that would make sense if you try to change the location. Where is that file? Isn't there a file? It's an actual file, isn't it? Git modules? Top level directory of a Git working tree. Level directory. Not inside here? Git config, git ignore. Wait a minute. Why is this here? Okay, in the wrong spot. It'd be nice to be able to open this in a file. So PyCharm is like deathly opposed to showing you the .git folder for some reason. I don't know why, or if there's a setting to make it show it to you, but what we'll do is we'll open this here. Have that on already. Here, my guess is maybe this is pointed to a different thing inside here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so do you have a fork of this? Well, yeah, you must have a fork of that already. Oops, wrong one. Yep, okay, that pulls up. Edited git modules file, yep. Yep, I think we are there. So one thing I could do is just put it back to stock CircuitPython for now. Branch. It might have been the branch. Alright, I can't edit it. Looks like this branch has a slash in it. I wonder if that's messing it up, whereas this one this one just has no slash in the branch. I don't know if slashes mean anything special in branch names or not. These things again. Sorry about that again, folks. Thanks for sticking by me through the spottiness today. Let's check. Are we back up? Back up? Yeah. Up on this side at least. I noticed this is no longer paused again, which is interesting. So it didn't pause when I clicked it. There we go. Okay. Is also running. We can. Okay. You can see in here again. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what is going on today. Today is not the day. I mean, maybe it's if it is the hammering stuff on the house. I mean, it's stuff is shaking or whatever. But I've been working all day, and I was on a call even most of the day, like essentially streaming, but only to one person. And I was not having any trouble today, but for whatever reason, it's getting us bad right now. Okay, so I did save this. Looks like we got that correct. Let's try make fetch submodules. Do that. This will update these things again. This should pull this time. I think it might have been the branch on yours. So let me see. Let me go back to, while that's running. Let's pull this up as well. It said tree release. Okay, it does have release in the name. I see. Okay. Release slash. The dot too. I wonder if there are any restrictions on these. It might be worth trying a branch without possibly a slash and or maybe a dot in the name. I have no idea if that's actually problematic or not, but I am generally suspicious of names of files and things like that that have not quite weird characters, but non-basic ASCII characters at least, especially slashes and things tend to convey different meaning. I wonder, are there any others in here? So we have main, master. Like, not very many of them actually do select a branch. The only other thing I could think maybe would be the spacing. Was the spacing any different there? This is the Python one. After the equal. It seemed like it would be okay to me. I don't spot anything right away that jumps out as github.com. Adafruit and kmatch makes total sense. d-idf is the same, .get. That's the only thing I can think would be the slash or the dot causing troubles, but I mean if it allows you to call the branch that and it's working here, I would assume that's okay, but actually no. We did still have the same one here though. Unpack error, not our ref. Remote end hung up unexpectedly. This. Already up to date. Sure. Is that what the rest of these things look like? Module. Basically, yeah. Up, dot get modules frozen. Of course, this one is in a different location, but one is up 3, but I think that's because the folder structure is different. Up ESP-IDF, up expressif, up ports, back to root, inside .get, modules, ports, expressif, ESP-IDF. That bit does look the same. Back now, got some audio, nice, thank you. These 3 files were changed in the ESP-IDF. I wonder Try looking here. At this one. Python. Words expressive. But this doesn't have a .get. Oops. Up. .get modules ports expressive ESP IDF. Up. .get modules ports expressive IDF. Like it doesn't have the files though. How do we get it to initialize the files the first time? We just need to run like an update submodules command. Submodule update. This is -- remote. I don't really want to do all of them, but I guess we can get submodule. So this is what we used to run this before make fetch submodule. We can get this to go. It's like it didn't. It's like even though we updated. Did I not save this? Save this. Yeah, I don't have an asterisk. Saved. Like it's like it didn't pull even though we updated it inside of here. Yeah. I think you can update submodules like you did when you started. I tried make fetch submodule and it didn't. It's giving me an error on this one. I don't know if I still. Yeah, this is the error, in fact. So it goes entering this remote error upload pack not ref fatal the remote end hung up expectedly fatal run command return non-zero status. We should write down how to do this in the expressive readme. Python on expressive. I think you don't generally need to do it. I think it's just like it got in a weird state because Kmatch was trying to point it to his own fork. And then I cloned that one where that had happened. So like ordinarily you just clone CircuitPython and it's actually in there. We get here. Direct fetching. Okay, well it's a different kind of error. Still has no files though. Already up to date. You regularly update it to point at Adafruit's fork plus patches for Espresso for releases. Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, if I can figure out how to do it, I would document it. I will have to figure out how to do it first though. It's not. Oh, it's like it's not recognizing that we updated the file for it. Did it check out? Not match any known files. Ah, okay, this is still set like this. How do you change? Can you change the URL? Have to add upstream? I don't know what that means exactly or how to do it, I guess. I have a very limited knowledge of Git. I kind of know the few things I know how to do with making PRs and doing stuff that I have done already, but lots of stuff I don't quite grok the full the full picture yet. Get remote set URL. Get remote set URL origin 1. Put this back to this for now. Okay, this seems promising. Definitely getting stuff. Doesn't match any there. Is our want to do anything different now? Adafruit's usually upstream. Origin is usually your own fork. You don't work from your fork. I do usually work from the Foamy Guy fork, but right now I'm on I have cloned Kmatch's fork of CircuitPython, which then has a submodule for ESPIDF. Ordinarily, that points to Adafruit's fork of ESPIDF. In the state it was when I got it, that was pointed, at least in the submodules file, to Kmatch's fork instead of Adafruit's. So I think we're not set quite somehow in there. It's not pulling the files for it, for one thing. Hopefully this time we get something different. Nope, we still got the same thing here. Upload pack, not our ref. Let's see here. Are there differences in, there must be probably, right? There are differences in the CircuitPython build as well, not just differences in the ESP-IDF. Is that correct, K-Match, if you're still around? Basically, I'm thinking like, if I start from Adafruit main, and I just swap the ESP-IDF to yours, and then get a build, that still doesn't quite get me to where I need to be to run it on this device though, right? You actually have changes in this branch, which you would need to get in as well. We'd kind of have to like merge this one into main, do anything that's needed on that ESP-IDF to get that fixed. I don't know what weird. It's weird to me the state that this is in. Oh, this says, okay, we have something different here now. Using to merge unrelated histories. There's changes, okay. All right, so we will get there. We will get there. It's gonna take me floundering through Git a little while, so hopefully folks are not too, oh, going? Okay. I mean, it was a string, but, right? About ESP-IDF versions. Recently have M5 stamp C3 was using version 5, gave me a lot of problems. Unable to build an example, downgraded to 4.4, and then the builds went okay. Okay, so maybe they have some stuff going on in the newest version, 5 sounds like. Don't think we have done set URL. I think I did. Remote -v. So this one now shows the URL as back to Adafruit. It was Kmatched a little while ago, and I changed it both in this file here, and then I also did change it with that command, this one, set URL origin Adafruit. Origin master allow unrelated histories. Seems like it won't align. You cloned Kmatch. I cloned Kmatch's CircuitPython, and then the origin of the ESP-IDF within that clone was set to Kmatch's, but it wasn't working. It didn't have files in it, so trying to see if I can get the files to show up, I did switch it, the origin, to Adafruit. Seems like it won't align. I mean, it won't align in that it's not the one that this branch needs to build with in order to work on the device, but it, I mean, I was hoping it would align enough for me to get files. Like right now, I'm just trying to get some files to show up in the ESP-IDF. Even if they're the wrong files at this point, that's okay. I'm just trying to get some of them into there. How do I get this back to the dock? Oh my. There we go. So that's where I'm at right now, is like, it won't match up in that it's not going to build the thing we need to build to put on the tablet, but I'm just trying to get the files into here. The history from Kmatch is divergent from the Adafruit one. Okay. I mean, I do believe that's true, but I don't know what to do about it, I guess. I don't know how to get back to a working state from there. That's kind of where I'm trying to figure it out. Allow unrelated. Or to get to K-matches too, right? Like really ultimately what we want is we do want K-matches, but when it was on K-matches it also didn't have files. So I gotta figure out how to get it to have files either way. Your local changes to the following files would be overridden by the merge. Interesting. Wonder why that is. Some of this stuff is even outside the IDF, which seems weird to me. Can we go back to your fork, make a branch, and apply k-matches changes? We can try. I mean, I will say I don't keep my fork up to date, but I can make a new one from Adafruit main for sure. Here. Be updated. Go. Assuming upstream. Oh, let me catch up though. Apply k-match. Hit checkout. Branch, new branch. Upstream main. Yeah, I think that's what I did there was check out. Basically, I made the new branch and then we chose Adafruit main as that. And so now I've got oh, this is now failing in this one. Wait, what? Did fetch k-match. Interesting. Somehow it's tied into just fetching that. I wonder if we're already stuck now, though. Ports. No, it does have files. Yeah, we're on Foamy Tablet, so now let's go merge k-match s3.clockDisplay into Foamy Tablet. We will probably take this one for now. No. Yeah, let's take let's take the Adafruit one for now. Let's take this for now. If we get our build working and we have files inside the ESP-IDF, we can worry about how do we switch that to k-matches branch afterwards. Let's take this one. Floppy. It's probably just new from main. And these ones too. These are translations. We should be able to just take these all from main, I think. Anything that does need a translation would get it whenever pre-commit ran. I'm pretty much taking all main stuff on this, which is from the left. Should have done. Oh, there is an accept left, I guess. Actually, I guess I should have just done that. Actually, we have so many more to go. There is. What is the one change here? Shared bindings specify. Data pins. Okay, something to do with the actual stuff. Can I just accept left now, or? unsaved changes, so it is gonna have me. I think let's do that because we can always regenerate the translations. That's no problem. Sure. Really liking to get skills, so my apologies. No, not a problem. Not a problem. I'm with you right there, honestly. I think that's where... let's see here. Image capture. I'm right there with you. I think if I had more experience overall with Git, I'd probably be able to get it worked out quicker and easier. I will say, though, like, I'm learning a lot right here, right? It's maybe not the funnest thing in the world to watch me flounder around through Git, but I am learning slowly as I'm doing this here as well. So good news is, you know, it's a little easier next time. A little easier next time. That's how it goes. Okay, and then this one I think we will probably just want to say accept theirs. No, accept yours, because yours in this case is essentially main CircuitPython, which is where I want to land in this case. So we're gonna go accept yours. Merging. Cannot check the working tree for unmerged files because of an error. Okay, this is just pre-commit failed. Pre-commit didn't pass. That's fine. Translations, which makes total sense actually, because we had that one string, we didn't take it from the right, therefore it would have had to regenerate. So it tried to run a commit as part of that. It ran pre-commit, it did its thing, did exactly what it's supposed to do. IDE, PyCharm just, or CLion just treats that as an error. So we've got that merged in. We're back on core ESP-IDF. We have files. We're good there. I am curious. Oh, this now says merging. Why am I merging? I finished merging. Why am I merging? Abort merge. Oh, we finished merging. Okay, well, we couldn't finish merging because the commit failed. I think I'm gonna uninstall pre-commit. I think I don't want pre-commit to run automatically. Because what I find is pre-commit's running automatically and it interrupted my IDE here. My IDE usually does this automatically, but the fact that pre-commit failed actually stopped it from being able to finish its thing automatically. I don't think I want that. I want it to be like, I rely on this stuff to work. Because of my limited experience with Git, I kind of rely on this merging process inside of the IDE. Oh, we've got more of these. You can commit -n. So I think it will... We have no commits. There we go. I will push it. It doesn't really matter at this point, but we at least get it into GitHub as well. And commit -n no verify. Verify by default. The pre-commit and commit message hooks are run, and any of no verify or in is given. These are bypassed. Oh, interesting. I think though the thing is I would need the IDE to do that. it would have to do the dash in. And I'm not necessarily directly in control over it. I don't know where it takes its direction from to be able to do that stuff. Okay. Let's see if we can get a build. Ports, Espressif, LS boards. What is the name of this one? It's like dev kit. We are N8 R8, Nate rate, as I will refer to it at least right now as, because I think that's fun to say, Nate rate. We will need to do install probably, like this thing. And then also that one. Okay, make board J4. Okay, so we'll see if we get a build. We don't expect it to work because we know we need a different ESP-IDF stuff. Seemed awfully fast, right? It doesn't normally go that fast. 5 seconds. Is that finish? Python? Okay. This folder. Doesn't seem like it made the, which I guess we would need a .bin probably, right? Nothing really changed and it's taking longer this time. That's interesting. Looks like it's doing more stuff. That's kind of weird. Or why it did anything different that next time. Reattempt IDX. Find but not used. 28 seconds that time. Created image. Why is there a build inside of it also? So now the question is basically, is that failing because of the differences that we need in the ESP-IDF? Or is that failing for a different reason? I can't say as though I quite understand. Say entering this directory here, which is ESP-IDF. Is this a Python thing? Oh, okay, this is for web workflow stuff. Sure what the BLE error is. The diff in I do not know. So in the right now though we should have the Adafruit one. at this point still, but I do not know what the diff. I think he linked, well, he said which files were different earlier. Usually I run export. I did run that one. I did that one after I did install. So it looks like this thing failed due to not having this installed. So let's do that. See if that makes any difference. That was quite a ways. Oh, there's another one. ASmin. Are these in requirements or requirements? Could have installed from requirements. Maybe this was. Install. Maybe this was our issue the whole time. Maybe our failed builds are because we didn't have these new dependencies, it looks like. Okay. Behaving slightly differently. Count that as a win for now. Let's see. When you change your ESP-IDF, you should redo, install, and export in your virtual env. Yeah, good call. I will do that, definitely. Although it's not a virtual env in this case, it's just my Python installation, I think. My goodness, with these things. Really, YouTube? This is pretty... non-ideal. Let's go with non-ideal. It seems like it's doing more of a building type thing. This is behaving a lot more like it does when it does make a successful build. So I'm thinking we might have solved at least our first couple issues. So we might get a successful build here. Again, we're not expecting it to work on the device at this point. We'll need to go swap the ESP-IDF, but one step at a time. And it looks like we do. Looks like we have made that next step of getting a build building, which is a good step. Check. Okay, maybe we're back. Yeah. That was probably on my end again. We have reached bit louder portion of hammering, as I'm sure you are now well aware. I'll just hang out on mute here for a minute and see if I can hopefully catch another gap here in just a minute. So I'll go back to mute. Maybe we went back to the softer hammering for a minute, so I'll give it a try here without mute on. We'll see how it goes. If you're still having trouble, maybe try refreshing. It does show back on my end that it's reconnected and everything, so hopefully we're getting back to it. And again, I apologize for obviously all the background noise and all the technical difficulties today, but thank you for sticking with me, folks. We are doing the best we can here, so we're gonna look in this, and what I want to do with this, get remote -v, this would be, oh, interesting. This actually shows remote as expressive, which is fascinating. I would have expected to find that saying remote as Adafruit, right? Wouldn't that be what we expect? Okay, let's see what we can do here. Hammering's not too bad, makes for a good stream health watchdog. Nice. It's all good. For a minute you were not streaming, it said. Seemed to be back on Twitch. Yeah. And it may, at this point, we may have crashed long enough that it might switch over to another stream or something at this point. There's all bets are off at this point, honestly. Quieter here than in the studio. Quieter here in the studio, I gotcha. I'm surprised this doesn't match. I'm surprised this shows espressive. So then the way that I would know of to do this is... Okay, here's actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up in this as its own project. New window. So why does that not do anything? Oh, this doesn't have anything in it. Maybe I was in the wrong one. I see. Yeah. Trust. New window. There we go. Okay, now we got all these things. This is here. So let's go here. Remote -v. We're gonna go get remote rename. No, get remote set URL origin. Okay, match 8. Get fetch. Where are the remote branches? Can we have remote branches now? Not match any files. Files. So usually if I change, well, I should maybe not say usually because I don't know if I've done this before, but what I was expecting to happen was we change remotes, and then after we change remotes, this list starts populating and showing me remote branches. In particular, after I fetch. but I still don't actually see any remote branches. Branches, okay. But this says repositories. Local branches, remote branches. Why is the remote branch not there? None of them. Now we can't pull probably because we changed that. I don't know if it's just like syncing problem. I doubt it, but we'll give it a try. I will say there used to be a thing in here called like refresh VCS status or refresh VCS files or something like that. It used to be if you weren't seeing new stuff in here, you could click that and then it would refresh for you. I think that's not the case in the latest versions of the JetBrains stuff anymore, though, truthfully. I think that's gone away. Not seeing it, though. Boot branch. Done the fetch, and that's not seeming to help. Guess we could try origin slash. It feels like the slash would make it treat it like a remote, doesn't it? So like the name of the branch is release slash v.4. But when you want to check out, don't you go, or is it spaces? Check out origin slash master? Is that how you would check out master normally? Because if so, the slash that's in the branch name, I don't know, how would it know that it's not supposed to treat it as like branch and excuse me, like remote slash and then branch. I guess a lot of these also do have these, right? This is probably not something you created, right? This is probably just how these work. Yeah, how these work in here. Hmm. Okay, new plan. Get remote dash v. Get remote. Set URL origin. It's still super weird that this one was on Espressif too. Why my branch name ended up like that. I'm guessing it just took it from them. It seems like that's what the name they've used, the Espressif repo. I've now lost. Where's the Espressif repo? There. 1S. Oh, we got this thing again though. Still are back to this too. Wonder if we got this one broken. I don't think it is private. Because I have it here. Well, I have it here. And then the branch too, we could go to the exact branch is this one. Well, I am short on other ideas at the moment. This is how I was gonna try to check out. This is how I was gonna like try to check out that branch. So I guess we could go get remote add a match. Oh, did I mess that up by not having .get? Probably got this all messed up now, don't I? Can't go back anymore either. This will let us have the other branches. Should I create a fork of the Adafruit IDF and make a branch with my changes? I don't think you needed to. I mean, the true answer is I don't know for sure, but I don't think you would need to do that because I think you've got them here. I think we should be able to use them from here. I think the reason it's not working for me is because I don't understand what I'm doing with Git. I don't think there's anything you did wrong setting it up, really. I think I'm just not doing it right to switch it over, basically. All I hear is hammering. Now that's building code. There we go. That's true. A lot of warnings. The warnings. That was a lot of stuff for fetching. I don't know why. Why all these things are mad now. Have anything else in here? Okay, yeah, we have stuff here now. So we can check out this one. Okay. Okay. Now we're on that branch. Yeah. Go back out to our CircuitPython. Try this build again. Well, we changed the ESP though, so let's go install. Make submodules. All right, fingers crossed. What did I ended up adding Kmatch as a second remote. You can't just change the URL of your remote. I mean, you can. There's a command for it, but it doesn't... Changing the URL of your remote is different than adding a new remote with that URL. Stuff still behaves differently. You don't get all the same options. Probably, I guess maybe there's something we need to do after we change the URL or something. Maybe we... some kind of sync or something. I don't know what it would be, but the URL is not a thing that's in normal use patterns. Okay. Try to stay away from that now. Go towards just adding. So what did we get to here? We got waiting for unfinished jobs, but then it just ends. Compilation terminated. Okay, so we do have this BLE thing. Does this ring a bell? Your misc.h, was this one of the files that you had to do some kind of, what you call it, linking? Could be. If we get any other stuff jumping out at us here that seems related to the error. Kind of got multiple errors. We got this error, which looks like it is probably related to our stuff, the RGB panel stuff, which is new. We got this error, which looks different, and it's related to BLE. Comparison is always false due to limited range of data type. And we got this, is also in BLE, reattempt IDX defined but not used. So one thing I'm curious about is if the BLE ones, we have those if we try to build on main right now. Although we're all messed up now, aren't we? Checked out. Not sure how to get back either. We were not actually on master, we were on just like a commit. Curious if this gives us anything different. Mostly to see if we get the same two BLE errors. Oh, the BLE issue is just a warning. Okay. Couldn't figure out how to redirect include statements to tell it where to find the files. Made a symbolic link with ln-s. Okay, if this gets us a build... Well, okay, here's these same two things. So these are just in main. This has nothing to do with our stuff. They are, and it does look like they are warnings because it hasn't like bailed already right away. So, yeah, we probably do need to make the link thing that you are talking about, is my guess. I'll run it back on the Foamy tablet branch again, and we'll figure out what the specific error said, like which file it's looking for. Had to do it with several files, can't remember how many. Okay. We will try to chase him down here. Still thinking, actually, it might actually be giving us a build this time. Must be a better way. Yeah, I'm sure they're probably something for us to do, I'm sure. Definitely thinking for quite a bit longer this time around. I do J4. Yeah. We can find the error last time. Like, include misgate. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this one did finish the build, so we did get a clean build. We'll go back. I think we're getting pretty close. I think once we can solve the file links, we might be there. Because the same two warnings that we're getting back on this branch, we also get on main, and we get a clean build, even though those things happen. While that's running, I'm gonna go look at the actual file, see if we can figure out where we need to make the link from and to. So this says the IDF components. Oh no, I don't really want this down here. I mean over here. Okay. LCD, of course. It tries to include misc.h. Doesn't have one. So you had to create symlinks to get a project build, which symlinks components F for other files. Error, no. Remember correctly, was the code I added to that ESP-IDF that needed to connect to some higher level files in the CircuitPython tree. Also possible I added some unnecessarily includes writing the initial code. It is weird, like, where does this misc symbol? Options are kind of like common how, include how, components how, platform port, include how, misc. Or the other one was open thread or nimble. Form port. Like I tried adding dot slashes, never could get it to find the files. It's weird here, like it doesn't seem like it, sure which file it's trying to point to. It does kind of make sense why it fails the build, because it does say include and it doesn't have one next to it, but which one is it trying to include? And I guess another question is this part of the code that was customized, or is this part of the code that is actually the same? Okay. Does look like this is one of the differences. So some stuff from HAL. Is there a way to tell like what it uses from this include? Is anything else in here say MISC? No. You guys that created libraries using the wrong way of the include syntax. So do we think this might be HAL? Not all the way this deep, right? My terminal go. You can comment it out and find out. Oh, that's a good point. Try that afterwards. Okay, yeah, that failed. No such file or directory. That's not even the right syntax stuff. The difference between Manchester branch v44 and Espressif's branch. This was a line he added. I don't think these links work. From cache. Private peripheral. It is a difference. We get here, subcommand failed. Panel, trial, DLK, fine, unlikely. Called. Use variable RGB panel. Then subcommand failed. Jobs. Misc. Yeah, I did see that one. That one came up in my search here. That does seem like the most promising, but it does, doesn't really find it. I don't know, would it just, I guess this just has HAL. Does that one exist? No, it doesn't, because this has a cert check log DMA types. Even here either, actually. When it's HAL, include HAL. Components. HAL, include. Okay. But then this doesn't have a MISC, but it is, this is where this is pointing, so include HAL. So this one is actually in platform port rather than include. So then is there any other MISC .h where any of these inside of include? Ah, why can I not just look at them in the list there? So there's platform port include HAL. Nimble and then open thread. Would it just be HAL? Doesn't seem like it, right though? Doesn't seem like the same directory where it's pulling the other stuff from. Oh, same error. In file included from. Hey, thanks for that, Dan. Appreciate it over there in the YouTube chat. Let's see here. Function, new RGB panel warning, comparison between pointer and integer. Panel init. How that did. But we actually get basically the same. Okay. No such file or direct. So if it doesn't find it, it will tell us. And it didn't tell us that, so maybe it did find it. Yeah, because it didn't give us any not found on that line this time. And then just for the sake of comparison, if we comment this out this way. I think this one is the same. Yeah. So when we comment this line out, we fail the exact same way as if we have it uncommented with HAL in it. As originally written, it was misc like this, and then we did fail for a different reason, which was not finding misc. It does seem like it's finding this, but I am wondering if that's actually the right misc. Because it then leads us to here, which is the same thing as if we comment that line out altogether. So it makes me think that we are finding something here, but the thing we're finding is not the one we actually need to do the rest of the stuff in this file. That error is strange. I'll have to check to be sure I did the merge correctly back into ESP-IDF. Let's get in there. So I guess include it takes all. I see. When you use include here, you can find anything that's inside of any folder that is called include. So we get HAL DMA types because that's in this one, but it's not actually in this one. Oh, it is. Okay, so we were able to find that because it's here. Only one MISC. That one we found. That is interesting though. What are the other ones? I don't know if this one is a submodule or what, but this one looks like it's in the IDF also. So components, open thread, include. There's include. Platform. So there's this one. Maybe this one is a submodule or whatever though. Maybe this doesn't count as inside the IDF proper. It's odd it didn't come back on the search. All right, I think I'm gonna call it a night for now. So I feel like we're pretty close. We got our build on main. We figured out some of the warnings we saw are actually just warnings that they're submodules. Oh, okay. So those don't count in the main search. So we still got work to do. Obviously, need to figure it out. I'll sit down and try it out some more a little later. We'll have to figure out which version of MISC this one was trying to point to. How do we get it imported properly? So that's kind of the next thing for us to figure out when we get back to it. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you especially to Kmatch for doing all of the work initially on this device and the peripheral support and all of that stuff. Thanks for hanging out during the stream and offering to help. Thanks for offering to send me the hardware so that I can try to help on this. It's awesome, super awesome stuff. Thank you again so much for that. Let me do some checking to see if there are issues. Yeah, for sure. Let me know what you find. Thank you to everyone else who watched today. Sorry again for all of the extra noise and all the dropouts and everything like that. Hopefully next week we're back to a little bit more steady. And theoretically, hopefully next week the construction work should be done, so we should have no more loud hammering and stuff like that. So thanks all. Hope everybody has a good night. I'll catch you all next time. I'll be on tomorrow morning for my stream, Saturday at 10 a.m. if you want to catch me. That's the next time I'll be back. So